Hi there, my name is Sandra Wilson and I am a clinical hypnotherapist who helps adults and children with misophonia and extreme sound sensitivity. So in this video I am going to talk a little bit about the impact of your sound sensitivity, your misophonia, on the people that you love the most, because I do understand that sometimes our close personal relationships, the people we are closest to, can be our biggest triggers. So if you have misophonia, you may have noticed something that does feel incredibly upsetting, and that is the people who trigger you the most are the ones that you love the most. Maybe your partner, perhaps your husband or your wife, maybe somebody else that you live with. It could be a parent or even a child. I do help people who are triggered by their own children, and that can just leave you wondering what on earth is going to happen in this relationship, because you might find it so difficult being close to them in certain situations, which can be incredibly painful. But the good news is it doesn't mean you are flawed or broken, and it doesn't mean that is the end of your relationship, and it certainly doesn't mean a barrier needs to exist. So it's true to say, especially in the case of our partners, our spouses, we often eat together as well as sleep in the same bed, so we're exposed to the breathing, the snoring. Maybe we sit and watch television with them, or sit and relax, having a nice quiet evening with them, go on holiday with them. We spend a lot of time with our partners and our spouses. So the nervous system does learn through repetition. So your nervous system is what keeps you safe, and it is often incredibly subconscious, which means you are not aware that it is happening. So when you feel badly triggered, you feel the rage, the disgust, the very intense emotion in response to the sound, that is your nervous system interpreting the sound as being dangerous, even though logically you just know it doesn't make sense. So the person you spend the most time with naturally does become the person you're exposed to the most. You're around that person a lot. And it's true to say that the people we live with often do trigger us more because we are around them a lot more. There may be other reasons for that, which I'm going to talk about in a later video in this series. But the person you love, the person you live with, you may adore them, you're madly in love with them, you feel intensely connected with them, very close to them, but you cannot stand the sound of them eating. You cannot stand the sound of them breathing. And of course that does create enormous guilt and shame, because you can't help it. You're not logically choosing this. Okay, so misophonia isn't about you being broken. It is not about you being flawed. It's not deliberately trying to put a barrier up between you and your spouse or your partner. It's just measuring how much your nervous system has learned to respond, because it's creating a safety mechanism. Okay, and it may sound mysterious. You may not be entirely sure why it's doing that. Chances are you could trace this way, way back. But part of the work that I do is helping clients to see that you can be close to your partner, be close to your spouse, and feel more calm and in control. Because your brain, your nervous system, it has learned to respond in a certain way, and that means it can unlearn. And if that makes sense to you, give me a thumbs up, or perhaps think about clicking on the link below and claiming your free video, Safe Around Sound. So I'll be back with more content later on this week after a little bit of a break that I've had, and I'm going to be focusing exclusively on relationships and the consequences of having misophonia. And I really hope that you will find this series helpful and enjoyable. Bye for now.